told management I was unhappy about being passed over for promotion. At first, my gut instinct was to say, hey man, if you got a promotion just by complaining, you did a great job. I continue to read. I am looking for reassurance and any insight, tips, and advice on how to improve moving forward. This person posted a great question. It's actually a very common question that happens in the workplace. And I'm sure many of you have probably experienced this. And this is when you believe that you are the best candidate and you deserve a great job and a promotion opportunity. Maybe it's a full-time opportunity. Maybe it's getting hired from being a contractor or something of that nature. And inevitably you say, well, I would like that job, and I've been here for a long time. I'm an amazing person. Why can't I have that job? And then you talk to a manager. You maybe apply for it online. You do things of that nature. And then you find out you didn't get the job. And, you're kind of upset by that. And that, that's perfectly normal. So I will make the answer to you demotivated RA, and this may make you even less motivated. They're not going to promote you. They have no plans on promoting you. Really, this whole idea of now pushing to promote you is lingo for we're going to try to keep you around as long as possible and hope that you don't quit. Because that's really all they're wanting to do is they just don't want you to quit. Because if you quit, then they have to find someone else. And it took a long time to train you and get you to where you're at now. It's expensive to replace people. And, if you leave, well, then they're going to have to replace you. But no, they have no intention of actually promoting you. And this leads me to actually talk about one of the most common things that happen during the interview process. And nobody knows this happens. I've just observed it from being on the other side of the table, where you and a manager sit and you interview somebody. The interview goes great. The person is exciting. The person is a great fit for what you want. And then after the interview, you sit and you watch, and the person gets in their car and they get in their 2005 Honda Accord and they drive away. And as soon as they drive away, you and the manager look at each other and you say, what did you think? And the manager will say, I think that's a pretty good person. That's not a bad person. Certainly going to consider hiring that person. And they'll say, what did you think? And I'll say, well, I like this about the person. I like their background. I like their education. They seem like somebody who would work. Now, just so you know, when you say somebody who would work, that is lingo for somebody who will fill the role and can do the job that we need them to do. You might be asking, why is this important? And actually, it's extremely important because during that meeting between me and the manager, that's when it would be decided, hey, this person is somebody that we really think can be moved up in our company. This is somebody we think, okay, yeah, we can have them start off in this position, but then we can have them move on to sales. Or, oh man, I couldn't believe how sharp that person was. I think that person would be a great leader, a great supervisor for our team. As asinine as it sounds, many times from what I've noticed, the decision to promote somebody, the decision to allow somebody to advance in their industry, that discussion happens after the interview. I worked with a job seeker who said, when I graduate college, I want to work in logistics. I want to be in retail logistics. And I said, well, that's oddly specific, but okay. And he said, yeah, I found this job that's in Nebraska for $10 an hour, and it would put me in that field. And I thought, okay, but you don't live in Nebraska. And he said, well, I don't care. I want to be in retail logistics. Now, naturally, everybody's allowed to do whatever it is that they want to do. But he went ahead and took that job. And over the years, his pay has increased, and he got to a point to where he was making, over $15 an hour. He's been there for 5+ years. He's an important part of their team and continue to keep him around. So one day I called him and I talked to him, and he talked about his job, and he said, yeah, I'm really interested in moving to sales, and I'm working with them to get me to be in sales so I could do that part of the job. And naturally, his logic for being able to move into sales was that I'm an employee they like. I'm somebody who has been kept around, who has gotten pay raises, who has really been a great contributor to this company. And they have an opening, so it's their obligation to promote me into whatever position I want because I've earned it. As somebody in my position in this situation, I have one of two choices, and neither choice is good. My first choice is to say nothing and to let it play out and let him learn from the experience. The other is to tell him and try to convince him that he's wrong and attempt to help him realize the error in his logic. But oftentimes what happens when you do that is the person rejects you. The person says, no, you're wrong, and then they never speak to you ever again. And if they do listen to you, they'll take it personally, and they'll be so insulted by it, they'll lose their confidence and not try to do anything. And so really, situations like this are a lose-lose situation. And I have tried to talk to him many times in many ways about, it's important that you're always focusing on your career, focus on building your skills, build your career, do what you need to do. Never let yourself be dependent upon an employer to decide whether you're any good or not. But he didn't listen. He didn't mind that he was letting the employer decide if he was worthy to be a salesperson. A year later, I talked to him. He's still waiting for a sales position to come open. He hadn't been a salesperson. He was still making $15 an hour. The company got to keep a great producer, a talented individual who was willing to work for $15 an hour. He was still there. He was still waiting. Now, I told this guy, I said, of all the people that I know in the world that I've ever met, this guy has, I shouldn't say had, he's still alive, an amazing work ethic, and probably, frankly, one of the best work ethics I have ever encountered. So he works hard, he's disciplined, and he devoted his time to this one company. And to this day, it's now been about 10 years, and he is still there. So my response to demotivated RA to the post that you have on Reddit is just start looking for a new job. You're done. Some of the lessons that we got from 2008 is that the employers really are not going to provide for the employees. It is not up to the employer to take care of the employees. I think what people have done over the years is they have learned to depend on employers almost as if it's a government program. And I think what has really happened is people became so accustomed to being in the safe job that they don't know what else to do. They have become so accustomed to having that safe job so they can maintain the lifestyle that they have that they just simply become accustomed to thinking of the employer as just an extension of the government, as if it's almost just another government program. So demotivated RA, start looking for another job.